So what we're going to be doing now is we're going to be looking at homozygous dihybrid crosses. These are crosses that have two different sets of alleles. In our specific situation, we are going to be looking at crossing Drosophila or fruit flies. And in fruit flies, we have red eyes being the dominant as opposed to brown, and we will have a yellow body being dominant over a brown body. So we're going to symbolize the red with a capital R and the yellow with a capital Y. As we write these alleles out, we will have two R's and two Y's that are capital. That signifies that those are dominant. Since we are crossing homozygous, we will have two capital or dominant alleles that are red and two dominant or capital alleles that are yellow. We're going to symbolize them with two R's, capital or dominant, and two Y's, capital or dominant for yellow. The other parent is going to be homozygous for brown eyes and brown body. So they're going to have two of the lower sets of letters to symbolize that those are recessive. When we try to create our Punnett square here, we are going to combine the two alleles, and since they are splitting, we will have a dominant R with a dominant yellow, and that's going to be in every situation for one parent. The same thing will be true for the second parent, where we take one set of recessive brown and recessive brown body, and we will create our alleles. Since these are dihybrid, that means that the alleles will separate. We now have the alleles separated for the parents. The first offspring is going to receive a pair of dominant R and Y and a pair of recessive R and Y from the other parent. The second offspring will receive the same situation from one parent and a recessive RY from the second parent. The third one will receive a dominant RY from the first parent and a recessive RY from the second parent. The same is true for the fourth offspring. It's important to remember that we are talking about possibilities or percentages ultimately. It doesn't mean that these two fruit flies come together and they produce 16 offsprings. They produce thousands of eggs. The idea is to see what the chances are of those offsprings receiving these genotypes. So now we have the genotype and the phenotype, and when we combine them together, we always start with a dominant letter in the beginning and the recessive letters following. This is a dihybrid homozygous test, and we saw that every single offspring will have the same genotype and phenotype. So we will have every single offspring having the exact same genotype, and they will all look the same way. There's no possibility that they will look different than what we have here. In this particular case, they will have red eyes and a yellow body.